The most elite of the Ravenwing become Black Knights, and the most elite of the Black Knights ascend even further beyond that to the Inner Circle, and even beyond that can become a Ravenwing Command Squad, accompanying the most elite warriors and the most elite leaders that the Dark Angels have to offer. Hello everybody, my name is Spoon Traveling, and today we are covering the Ravenwing Command Squad, which is of course a classic unit for the Dark Angels and their second company, the Ravenwing. So, the Ravenwing Command Squad comes in at 130 points for 3 models, so 40 points a model, which is quite steep. Well, no, 35 points, sorry. Is that right? I hope so. Regardless, I don't have a calculator pulled up. In terms of stats, they have 12-inch movement, toughness 5, 3+ save, a 5+ invulnerable save, 4 wounds, leadership 6+, and OC 2. Very standard biker stats with an extra wound, but that's a good thing because the bike profile is good. Of course, they will have to go around terrain as they're bikers. In terms of ranged weapons, they all come standard with the very powerful Plasma Talons, which, like any plasma weapon, have 2 profiles. At standard, it's Rapid Fire 1 with 2 attacks that hit on 3s at 18-inch range, Strength 7, AP 2, and Damage 1. And then, of course, Overcharging adds Hazardous, but also adds in Strength, AP, and Damage. 1 in 3 can swap out their Plasma Talons for Grenade Launchers. The Frag profile gets Blast with D3 attacks that hit on 3s at 24-inch range with Strength 4, AP 0, and Damage 1. And the Crack Grenade has 1 attack that hits on 3s at 24-inch range with Strength 9, AP 2, and Damage D3. They all, of course, also get Bolt Pistols, which have the Pistol keyword, 1 attack that hits on 3s at 12-inch range, Strength 4, AP 0, Damage 1. Just bring the Plasma Talons. The Grenade Launchers really aren't worth bringing. In terms of melee weapons, the Ancient and the Apothecary both get Black Knight power weapons, which are 3 attacks that hit on 3s at Strength 5, AP 2, Damage 1. Very standard elite infantry or sort of elite unit profiles, but that's fine because it's a good profile. And the Champion gets the Mastercrafted power weapon with a whopping 6 attacks that hit on 2s at Strength 6, AP 2, and Damage 2. He fights really hard, of course. This is, of course, a very solid weapon profile and is about double that of what a normal Black Knight can do. And, of course, really appreciates the anti-keywords they get. Now, since there are 3 models in this unit, they all do offer their own buffs, which we are going to get into right now, after we cover their ranged and melee weapons. So, in terms of abilities, the Apothecary, of course, has his Narthecium. When this unit contains its Apothecary, in your command phase, you can return 1 destroyed model, excluding ATVs and characters. The reason it mentions ATVs is because these guys can lead Outriders. Though this is, of course, very useful, the bikes can be quite tough, so being able to revive them is very handy to keep them in the fight longer, as well as protect the 3 main guys in your command squad. The Banner is pretty standard. It just adds 1 to the OC, bringing everyone up to OC 3, which means with a squad of 9, you're getting a pretty beefy 27 OC. Very, 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 very solid for taking objectives. Honor or Death is the Champion's buff, and you add 1 to advance and charge rolls, and you can use the Heroic Intervention stratagem for 0 CP. I should also mention that the Champion has the character keyword, so if you're putting any enhancements on these guys, it does have to go on him. Again, all 3 of these buffs come together in a really good way of complementing each other perfectly. This pretty much makes up the triangle of 40k gameplay in sort of one move, increasing your ease of dealing damage with making it to combat easier as well as advancing faster. Your Narthecium increases your durability, and the Banner makes you much stronger on objectives. These guys will be really hard to push off objectives and can out-OC most things. Though, of course, a big unit of them would have quite a large footprint on the table. That's also not necessarily a bad thing to keep enemies off of objectives as well as screening. I'd say in terms of if you are going to have to kill one of them, say you're just getting down to your last couple models, drop the Banner, because the Narthecium can actually allow you to revive the Banner, as the only one with the character keyword here is the Champion. Of course, always drop the Champion last, but before him, of course, the Apothecary. The Apothecary can allow you to, in theory, revive the entire squad, but that's very unlikely, and I think also impossible given the amount of turns in the game. In terms of how I'd use them, I'd rate them quite highly, mainly because they offer a lot of buffs and a lot of damage. As I mentioned, the Champion is essentially 2 Black Knights strapped together with a damage 2 melee weapon, and his buff is really useful, especially in any way that allows them to, say, advance and shoot, such as in Gladius Task Force, or in general just wanting to charge them quickly. There's also some synergy with their own detachment, as you'd expect with the Scout or the Turn 1 Deep Strike. Getting +1 to charge out of either of those is very, very useful. One interesting thing with them, though, is the fire discipline only specifies an Adeptus Astartes model, so you could put that on the Ravenwing Champion. Now, this may seem sort of counterintuitive, but remember, all of those Plasma Talons have 3 shots at half range, and they move very fast, so it's not very hard to do. In reality, if you're shooting at the Oath of Moment target, you can vaporize most things in the game, reducing knights to steaming piles of slag, and then going into charge if something does manage to survive, like, say, a massive unit of Terminators, and even then it's iffy if they'll survive. I think they're honestly a sleeper pick for that, and when I run Gladius, I will definitely be giving it to them, because I think in this era of actions, they're very useful with their speed, their OC, and their high damage at both shooting and in range. Anyways, I've been Spoons Rattling. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.